Hey, it's Soul with some super last minute updates to get you kind of, maybe sort of excited for this coming week in Mythic Plus. Okay, I'm kidding, but there was another big round of hotfixes that dropped just in time for the upcoming Mythic Plus fixes, which is Fortified, Storming, and Inspiring. First off, while this is a little bit too late, Tyrannical's fix was nerfed from 40% additional health to bosses to 30%. For those who felt like bosses took a bit too long to kill, especially at very high keys, hey, your prayers have been answered. Every dungeon but Halls of Atonement was affected mostly to the benefit of tanks. Over at the other side, the ZG and the lab packs are a bit more manageable, while over in Mists, those few packs before the first boss, also a little bit easier to handle. In our favorite dungeon, Sanguine Depths, I personally remember the Frenzied Ghouls right before the second boss. Those would deal some insane damage that required some very heavy cooldowns, or kiting. Inspires, those Ether Diver Serpent things, they shouldn't stack that crazy dot as frequently. So all in all, it's just lower tank damage. This is great and all, but why? Reading directly from the developer notes, we've noticed tanks in Mythic Keystone dungeons feeling pressured to spend more time running away and less time actually tanking than we'd like. In an effort to address this, we're dialing back the tank damage of a number of dungeon denizens who've proven to be particularly painful. For those of you who've been paying attention to the meta and or the Mythic Dungeon Invitational, Demon Hunter tanks were of the highest representation thanks to their ability to quickly ramp up threat and then, well, kind of run all over the place like maniacs while the DPS chased mobs around. While this isn't as big of a deal in lower keys, it's hard to not notice that non-Demon Hunter tanks were not favored for pugs. This sort of mentality threatens to compromise representation at every level. After all, if everyone says the easiest way to do Mythic Plus is to kite everything, it leaves the other tanks dusted and forgotten. By consequence, that threatens to lower the overall tank representation in Mythic Plus. Couple that with things like the PvP gearing imbalance, and we just have a really bad formula. Personally, I think these changes are a huge step towards giving tanks in general a fighting tanks to, tank. There's no doubt that, at least for a while, Demon Hunters will still be highly represented because, well, the easiest tank to heal is the one who can take the least damage or, well, avoid it. But if these changes can let the other tanks be effective with their abilities and toolkits, we can at least expect some fairer play and higher representation and higher population and so on and so forth. Coupling this with the buffs to many specs this week and the nerfs to Mythic Plus from the other week, and we can sell this narrative that Blizzard is making efforts to respond to some of the biggest outliers that have made some parts of Shadowlands feel like a drag. There are still issues abound that I hope will be addressed sooner rather than later, but I'm excited enough about these changes to share them with all of you during a weird time of the day, but oh well. Many of you watching and listening have a lot more experience with Mythic Plus than I do, and I really value that feedback, so I think your input will help us out. Please leave your feedback in a comment, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more of this and all things Warcraft. We'll see you next time. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay breezy.